Hey everyone, Slambo here, hopping on the Canadian vinyl tag this time. This tag was started by Rachel the Music Mam on one of her live streams, and I was more surprised than I should have been that I was able to figure out answers for almost every single question. So let's have a go at it. I've got a couple where I've had to replace the questions because I didn't have an answer for, but I have a Canadian replacement for each question. First question, show a Canadian country album. Well, this is... A lot of people think of this guy as an American artist, but he's a Canadian artist, and that's Hank Snow. This is the essential Hank Snow. That's a best of. There's 20 tracks on here. Starts with the Rumba Boogie. Then we've got I'm Moving On. Other songs on here. The Gold Rush is Over. The Gal Who Invented Kissin'. Would You Mind? Ladies Man. 90 Miles an Hour, and it ends with Hello Love, which is, of course, the song that Garrison Keillor always sang at the start of Prairie Home Companion. Second question, show a Canadian jazz album. This is another one that kind of surprised me. This is an artist that I found out about a long time ago because of some of the flamenco guitar that he's done. It's not really straight ahead jazz, but it is in the jazz realm, and that's Jesse Cook, and this is the album Free Fall. There's 11 tracks on here. It's an enhanced CD, which includes videos of a couple of the tracks on here, Mario Takes a Walk and Battle and Burn. This one is a pretty hot flamenco guitar. If you're into Spanish guitar, I would highly recommend getting this one. Question 3. Show a Canadian artist in an American band. This is the one that the very first thing that popped into my mind is not going to be what everyone else thinks of. And that's on Golden Throats. William Shatner is Canadian, and on here he sings a couple of songs. He sings Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and he sings Mr. Tambourine Man. And there are all the individual record covers on the back, including, there he is, William Shatner. The Transformed Man. It's a record that I still need to get an original copy of, along with all of these others. I don't have any of these other original records. I've only got the Golden Throats compilation from Rhino Records. So there's a Canadian artist in an American band. Not necessarily known as a singer, but he definitely is a Canadian artist. Acting is an art, after all. Question number 4. Show a Canadian female solo artist. This one is probably one that is going to get shown a lot. Anne Murray. And I got this one because of the ridiculousness of the whole premise of a hippopotamus being in the tub. I haven't actually listened to it yet. I need to listen to it. Number 5, show a Canadian metal album. This is one where I'm replacing the question. Instead of metal, I'm going to show a Canadian comedy troupe, and that's the Frantics. This is their album Boot to the Head. This is the only way I've got it is on cassette, but they are definitely a Canadian comedy troupe, manufactured by Attic Records in Toronto. This is one that I need to get either a CD or an LP copy of someday. Next, show a Canadian artist's 45. Well, I've got 2 45s that I'm going to show, and the first one is probably what you're expecting, Cheech and Chong. This is the Born in East LA single. And on one side, we've got Born in East LA. On the other side, we've got I'm a Modern Man. So there's Born in East LA, and I'm a Modern Man on that side. The other one I want to show is this one, The Haunted House, and other songs, or spooks, and other spooky poems and tales. Got to get it right there. Read by Paul Hecht and Carol Denell. Paul Hecht is the Canadian on this one. So next one. Show a French-Canadian artist. Well, there's a bunch of them. There's a few of them on here. Specifically, Nancy Arnaud, who was born in France and sings with this ensemble, and Olivier Milchberg, was born in Paris, and he's a composer for Cirque du Soleil, which is a Canadian performing troupe. I got to see a Cirque du Soleil when they were in Los Angeles. I saw them at the Santa Monica Pier. Great show. The tent was out in the parking lot right next to the pier, but we got to park on the pier and then walk down to the tent and see the show. I've seen the show a couple of times since then, and this is the only actual soundtrack album I have from them. And so next question, number 8. Show a Canadian Indigenous artist. This is another one that I don't have specifically in my collection that I could find. So I'm going with a replacement question. Show an album with a track about a Canadian person. And that's on this compilation, The Very Best of Dr. Demento. Track number 9 by Frank Zappa is Nanook Rubs It. It's based on the story of Nanook of the North. Number 9, show a Canadian prog rock album. I don't have any yet, but Geddy Lee from Rush appears on Bob and Doug McKenzie's Great White North. So you had to know this was going to get in there somewhere. So there they are, Bob and Doug McKenzie, 2 also Canadian comedians doing a send-up of Canadian culture. I'm going to put that one right there. Next question, number 10. Show a Canadian pressing, something made in Canada. Well, we go back to the Cirque du Soleil Nouvelle Experience. It says it's printed in Canada down here on the bottom. This is actually printed on and done on their own label. All right, so next question. Show a Canadian folk album. Going to one of my recent pickups for that. We have Oscar Brand. Whoops, get it on the other side where there's more room. Body Songs and Backroom Ballads, Volume 1. So these are double entendre songs and sort of lewd songs for pleasure time, as you can imagine from the picture and the title. But yeah, this is folk music. It's him and a guitar and another voice and another guitar, which I think is him also. Done in a multi-track recording session, but I don't see anything on the back here about it, and in my research I haven't seen anything about who that second person is. Let's see, number 12, show an album with snow on the cover. Alright, so I've got 3 to show here, and we go to the Disney collection for this. We got Dickens' A Christmas Carol. We've got Disney's Merry Christmas Carols. It has a whole lot of snow on there. And one that I've shown in another, The House at Pooh Corner. Now we are 6, tromping through the snow. So there's 3 from the Disney collection, Disney section of my collection. Number 13, show a Canadian male solo artist. Well, a solo artist, it didn't say solo singer, so I'm going with Mort Saul, the comedian. This is his album, The Next President. Oh, get it without the glare. There we go, just barely. On the back, doesn't have any liner notes on it, just more pictures. Show a song or album with a Canadian location in the title or lyric. Okay, this is one that I'm going to one of my favorite acoustic albums, Eric Clapton Unplugged. There's a track on here. Let's see, where is it down here? It is track number 10. It's called Alberta. Now, of course, the song is about a person and not the place, but Alberta is one of the provinces of Canada, so there we go. Next question. Show an album with a Canadian symbol on it. Moose, duck, leaf, etc. Great White North has a bunch of them, but also the Bobs, Songs for Tomorrow Morning. There's a stack of pancakes there, and right next to it is some maple syrup. So maple syrup is one of those things that I get frequently around here in the springtime, because here in Wisconsin we've got a lot of maple trees as well. So it's one of those treats that I always look forward to every year. Next is show an album with a Canadian record label. Well, I already showed this one, Cirque du Soleil, but this one, Emo Phillips, live at the Hasty Pudding Theater and E = MO squared. Is pressed on Sony Music Canada. So that's a Canadian label. Show a Canadian live album or an album recorded live in Canada. This one, some people say, is a guilty pleasure. Bill Cosby himself was recorded live at Hamilton Place in Hamilton, Ontario. But if that's not good enough, Joe Jackson, live 1980-86, has tracks that were recorded at a fair that I got to attend. There were tracks on here recorded at Expo 86 from Vancouver, and I got to go there. I didn't see this show, but I saw a few other shows while we were there. 86, I was junior in high school, so I wasn't really into finding all of the bands that were playing there, but we had a good time with family. Number 18, show a song with beer or whiskey in the lyrics. Okay, Beer Hunter, but also the Asylum Street Spankers. There's a track on here, disc 1, track 15 is simply called Beer. And you got to pull out the polkas for this one. This is the world's greatest polka package. There are a couple of tracks on here with beer in the title. There's track 2 is No Beer in Heaven. And further down, where is it? I saw it on here. There it is, track 10, the Beer Barrel Polka. A staple of weddings across Wisconsin. Show a Canadian album or artist on colored vinyl. The colored vinyl that I have is not Canadian artists or albums, so I'm replacing this question, an album with the word Canadian in a song title. And for that we go with Weird Al Yankovic, Straight Outta Linwood, and track number 3 is one of his parodies. It's called Canadian Idiot. And finally, shout out a Canadian vinyl community channel. Well, I just saw a entry into my 100 subs contest. Someone thought that I was in Canada. Well, no, I'm not. I'm in Wisconsin. But there are a lot of really fine Canadian YouTuber channels, VC channels out there. And the one I want to point out is still under 100 subs. He's the nephew of Glenn Kellaway of The Basement, and that's Jack's Stereo Experience. So go sub him up. He's worth the look. He and Glenn have been doing some collabs together recently, and they're very interesting to watch. And as one final note, take off. That's what I've got today. See you next time.